We got lots to do today. We are doing 4 replays, and today is a special occasion. For today, we have a Masters replay. We're gonna watch Arthalon and his Raynor from the Heroes Rising tournament last. Something I've been wanting to do for a while is end with a pro replay. So we're gonna start out in bronze, make our way into silver, then we're gonna have our little break, watch our gold Raynor, then we'll watch Arthalon. So we're not gonna be comparing our gold Raynor too much to Arthalon, of course, because that's kind of a silly practice. But we'll be able to see the difference between the two, and if you can kind of notice those changes, you can improve your own play. And we get a lot of Raynor replays around here, so thought it would be cool to look at some pro replays, something I hope to do in the future. This will be very focused on Arthalon. So, this is not a recast. I'm not trying to redo anything that Gilly or Zoa did. They did awesome. The VODs are up. But Heroes Rising supplied their replays, so we get to watch them at home. And of course here at Solo Q&A, we focus on Solo Q, so we're going to watch him as a more individual aspect, and less what the entire team is doing together. But of course they're on voice comms, they're going to be at a different style level, and they'll be executing moves they have rehearsed before, which will be really cool to see. I said Heroes Rising, right? I didn't say that. I know I mess up a lot of my words, but I didn't say that. So let's start. Let's get into this. We have Ibra Kadabra. Ibra. I think we'll call you Ibra for now, or Kadabra. I'm not sure. I haven't settled on it yet. Ibra Kadabra is a bronze Falstad. He's on Infernal Shrines. And he says, well, a couple of things first. Now, I don't normally fall for some clickbait here, but Ibra Kadabra did seduce me a little bit with his email, yelling, "Help! I'm at MMR 800 bronze, and I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. I still can't really improve my game. This is my match on Infernal Shrines as Falstad. I often get the feeling that I really can't attack anybody except the tank, in this case Johanna. I couldn't reach Morales as often as I wanted to. Is it my positioning, lack of basic attacks, or just bad mechanics? Best wishes from Munich, Germany." So, well, let's see. Honestly, it's a little bit of morbid curiosity. I want to know what a rank 800 bronze looks like in a game that is evenly matched. He's in Heroes League. He's rank, 32 at the moment? 38. So, decent still grind, getting into Heroes League there. And the Infernal Shrines tablet set, has been a little odd for me recently. Once we get into the middle of the map, we'll avoid some of these, but something about the shrine does not sit well ever since the Greymane patch, so it's gonna throw a little bit of a fit, but once people roll out, we'll be good to go. But we'll just not look at the shrines for now. Let's find our Falstad. We got Ibra back here, looking fancy as a pirate.
The battle begins in 10 seconds.
Falstad is not a support. Falstad is no support, by the way.
5, 4.
I'm confused like the Raynor. I guess you don't want support?
Show them
Not entirely sure
came here
what's
to
going on there.
die.
So we're rolling out on the map. Only looking at our team right now. Could be ganks. We got a butcher. And that's something to notice immediately, right? Is we got a butcher on the enemy team. There's a possibility for ganks. Morales will have a hard time keeping up with the butcher. So the butcher may overextend. We need to look for those opportunities. Sylvanas should not be left alone in lane. We got Raynor. We got Sonya. Even we got Gazlo too. We got plenty of dudes who can switch it up and match the Sylvanas' push power. So, something we should be doing in the early game here is making sure we give an anti-Sylvanas the correct amount of weight. We do have a solo tank Sonya with a Lili. Nothing wrong with the Lili. Solo tank Sonya, I think it's a cool strategy. Tanking through damage and using a bruiser as your solo tank just means your whole team is going to have a lot more damage. And of course, I love Gazlo, so everything's looking good here. Johanna blinds, stuns, will make us miss our auto attacks, but Falstad has incredible spells. Of all the auto attack assassins, I think Falstad might have some of the best spells available to him. I love Lightning Rod. I love it. It's an amazing skill. If you go to Hot Slogs, you will see a whole bunch of talent builds built entirely around Hammerang. But guess what? Hammerang is hard to hit if you're a new player. Hammerang is very hard to hit if you're a new player. So in fact, for anyone out there who's trying to learn Falstad, I would suggest going with a different build, and it's going to make it really easy on yourself. So, let's find our Falstad. And your huge amount of damage that is really going to surprise people does come from Hammerang when you talent into it, but you can also go charged up, get an additional 2 strikes on your Lightning Rod, and then go into Thunder Strikes. 15% more damage per subsequent strike. This is amazing on Battlefield of Eternity, on Garden Tear, anything where you have to attack a sort of PvE object. The Lightning Rod skill is going to be amazing. And it's really easy to use. You cast it, it gives you a circle, and if the enemy tries to escape that circle, you barrel roll along with them, you use your increased movement speed from Tailwind to go after them, and you maintain that Lightning Rod on them. They'll take tons and tons of damage, they will be surprised, they will die, and you will have a good day. But this is nice. Everyone's playing safe. We got a lot going on in the middle. Looks like Butcher picked the wrong lane to invade with the healer and the Sonya. Master Skin Butcher, too. So, Master Skins, the game's been out for a while. They're not always a representation of anyone's skill level, but still a little intimidating. I don't blame you, Falstad, for heading in the mid here. We got Gazlo dealing with the top. Raynor's going to do an okay job against Sylvanas here, but will get pushed out. He just can't keep up. Gazlo, if we could switch it up between the two, we would, but that's a long travel distance. Falstad, though, with his flight ability, can fly around, soak a lane while someone else does a switch. So we do open up opportunities for that sort of thing to happen. Sylvanas is missing. Looks like we got 4 missing at the moment. Sonya may be getting a little too aggressive. Morales burned through all her heals. Yeah, I like your movement. This is nice to see. Sadly, that does miss. Here comes that Butcher. Nice job on the circle there. Ended up breaking it a little bit early. No need for that. All the attention went on to the Gazlo, so no need to be too scared there. Don't ever forget that barrel roll gives you a shield as well. So you don't always have to you don't have to barrel roll out and then disengage off it. You can barrel roll to where you want to be, set up, start attacking, and if you attract any attention over the next 2 seconds, you will absorb some of that damage. So we got a low Sonya. Should have healed up. Bell rings, get mana. It's a simple rule for yourself. On Infernal Shrines, you have a huge countdown. It's not like Blackheart's Bay, where he just goes, hey, chests, they're up, go for it. There is a full 30-second timer, and if you see anybody going back for mana, you can take that excuse to do it as well. In fact, in this case, you showed up with half mana, you blew through it in seconds, Lily has no mana, and this is going to be a pretty rough engage, particularly with a Morales, who has mana to keep going. So you want to contribute here, but you got no spells, because we didn't hearth back and get any mana. So this is one of those situations where it could be easy to feel like there's nothing you could have done, but in fact it was a decision you made a while ago to not hearth back and then rejoin the fight. Your Falstad, one of your great powers, is doing just that. And we're even falling a little bit behind here. Here comes the Butcher. It's going to be a lot of damage. Turn around and fight for sure. Let's see if we can get a look at your clicks here. So we're going to refocus on you. And this doesn't always work. The replay feature still has a lot of weird bugs in it. But let's see your clicks on the ground. Alright, so you're going back there. That's fine. Gonna go get yourself a well, sure. We'll rejoin you a little bit. Nice Sonya kill on the Morales. But here comes JoJo. All fueled up and ready to roll. A little miss spinning. Nothing on the Gazlo. A low Sylvanas runs in. Wow, this is wacky town. Alright, here you come. Here you come to deliver. Good, safe location there. Lily's still got a tiny bit of mana. Lightning Rodded up. Nice job. Lightning Rod doesn't care about being interrupted by any spells. You kill a JoJo on the back of it. Awesome. And Gazlo got a little confused, I guess. So nice job. Could have been a little more thorough. Get your mana up before we roll out, but this is looking pretty good. Now, of course, here, the Sonya's doing something. There are multiple ideas here you can have when you're thinking about dealing with a Punisher. One of the ideas is to have all these people. Well, that's not very visible. Let's bump that up and let's get ourselves a white pen here. There we go. So, two ideas when dealing with the Punisher. Either what you're doing right now, which is Sonya is attacking from behind the Punisher, so the Punisher, when it chooses to leap the nearest target, would jump onto the Sonya backwards, leaving all you guys to do your DPS in front. That's great. The other idea, which is going to be a little more effective at killing the Punisher quicker, but not stopping him from pushing, is for you all to back up a bit, and for Sonya to be on the other side of this wall. So it leaps the wall, you're divided from the enemy team, and then you can take out the Punisher relatively quickly. The enemy team is missing. They're making a wrong choice here to not reinforce with their Punisher. And in fact, all of them are not Falstads. They're not Bright Wings. They don't have the ability to instantly jump across the map and start soaking, basically is what I'm getting to. So if you can't soak immediately, then you should go ahead and push with your Punisher. And that Punisher's doing quite the little dance. Nice lightning rod. Still keeps going even though you're stunned. Such a great spell. I like your targeting. Sonya's making the call though, so let's reinforce that. Doesn't matter about our health. No. As long as Sonya's still going, she's making the decision to keep this thing going. You know, here, I wouldn't mind seeing you barrel roll in front and doing a body block. You guys have a commanding lead here. We can see Sylvanas in the bottom. We have a mystery Kael'thas somewhere. There he is in the top. So actually barrel rolling in front of him there and doing a little bit of a body block would have taken some extra damage. But, hey, assassins can do it too. Particularly melee assassins, of course, will need to be better at body blocking. But notice it as a skill in every hero you play and see those opportunities for a lockdown. Yeah, Lily taking care of you. Her mana's getting a little low, so good of you to back up. A missed blind, and it would have been a worthless blind by Johanna. Always make sure your characters are pre-engaged before you blind them. Nice little surprise on the Sylvanas here. No mana, sadly, but great auto attacks. Now, important to note there that he is not stutter stepping. In fact, what we're seeing is... And actually, wow, okay, so the replay feature grabbed onto his camera here, so we can actually see what he's up to. So we're just right-clicking, and we have a tailwind. So there is no stutter stepping here. He is just letting the right clicks fly. And that is wrong. It's not as wrong as it is on other characters, though. So with Raynor, you have Revolution Overdrive eventually, which changes things. Oh my god, what's happening in that portrait? I think we broke it. With other assassins, you will need to stutter step. And in fact, it would have gotten you the kill here on Sylvanas. So let's fix this. So you roll in on Sylvanas, you right click. Because you have 20% movement speed off of Tailwind, you move 20% faster, meaning all characters move the exact same speed except for Lunara. So you will catch up to her and continue to deliver auto attacks. But should you get hit, you will lose that movement speed. And Sylvanas, just through the sheer way of how acceleration works and auto attacks work, will outdistance you. I guess to highlight that conversation, whenever you stop moving or make an auto attack, your character stops. And then they need to start moving again. And there's a slight bit of acceleration. So this distance here takes you longer to move than this distance once you're already moving. Acceleration, just like a car. So every time you auto attack, you lose acceleration. That means that with stutter stepping, we want to put ourselves in locations where they stay inside our maximum range. And let's get an idea of that here. It's not far beyond our lightning rod range. A little bit further than that, but not too far. So if instead we attack the Sylvanas from this angle here, and we're standing here for this, she has to walk through our range. She gets attacked through here, here. We can then start stutter stepping with her, move, H, hit that H, stop, attack the nearest target. Move, hit that H. Attack the nearest target. And of course, we will keep up with her regardless of our bonus tailwind speed. But great job keeping your lightning rod going for the full duration. Just sadly, we lost her. And could have had her with a little bit of stutter stepping, and maybe even a body block in there wouldn't have been a bad idea. And it's a shame for sure. I mean, anytime a kill gets away, if someone misses their skill shot that could have landed a stun, and we end up just letting the enemy get away, it's a bummer, right? But as you move up in leagues, those are the things that win games. Those little twitchy decisions that allow you to get that kill and get that XP. Could you be 8 right now? Probably not. One kill wouldn't get you that much XP, but you'd be close. And with the soaking that's going on in the middle, maybe you could be 8. The whole enemy team wouldn't be 4% more powerful than you. So we move in. We're a little in front. We're a little in front of the tank, but this is a good line. Sonya got out in front of us. She is not waiting for Lily, who had to hearth back for mana. And this is going to be a dead Sonya relatively quickly, particularly as she overstends to the back trying to get a Morales. Sylvanas comes in on you. She's a little pissed after your failed gank on her. She's going to try to kill you rather quickly there. Here, we're waiting on Lily anyway. Our tank is missing, but there's no urgency until they reach 30 skeletons. So I would say instead of hitting this well, which is only going to take you back to half, perhaps hearth and then fly back out on the field. It feels unintuitive. You want to rejoin this fight, but this well is not going to top you off total. And if the Punisher's going to come out, you'll probably want this well later on. And it's not going to be ready in 97 seconds when this Punisher pops, which we can assume it will because Sonya's dead and we're lacking another engaged character unless Raynor suddenly, mans up and dives in there. But now we have a dead Gazlo, so that's not going to help out. Raynor did take Give Me More, so he can off-tank here, but I don't think he's going to acknowledge it in himself, and he's going to continue to play like a rather squishy ranged assassin, and you're actually going to start absorbing some of the hits. Lily could also kind of off-tank here, but she does need to make sure she's not locked down so she can keep casting heals on other people. Great damage on the JoJo. Lightning Rod always going to do some amazing damage to people they never expect it. That's why I'm such a proponent of all specs for new Falstads. Really embracing a lightning rod ability. So the Punisher comes out. You got a hearth back anyway. We got 60 seconds on our well here. Sonya's back up though. Got to be careful. She's gonna get jumped in front of the gate. There goes the Butcher. She walks back. Ooh, everyone's frozen. The wall's up though, and we're gonna live through this. Raynor's doing great damage standing his ground. Don't be scared, Raynor. I want to see auto attacks all through there. Our Falstad is back. And you're taking tons of damage right here. There is no reason that a barrel roll should be on cooldown. In fact, you would kite the Punisher back further, dividing it from the enemy team with a barrel roll, and you would have a shield if it was able to keep up with you. So there's no reason... And the thing with shields, let's focus on that idea. The thing with shields is that if you don't take any damage while you have a shield on you, you failed. Because the shield accomplished nothing. Part of the value of the spell is giving you a shield, and if you don't take any damage during it, you've cast it at the wrong time. Now, of course, there's life-saving moves. Diving out of the way is always a good idea. But on Kael'thas, for example, if you pop an arcane barrier and nobody attacks you, you cast it at the wrong time. So think about that. Got some questions here in the chat. Does S work as well as H? Yes. So S is stop, H is hold position. As far as I have figured out in this particular game, there's no difference between the two. Stop in StarCraft would stop all previously built up commands. So you can, let's say you want to move across the map here. Let's say, for example, that actually, this Kael'thas is a good idea. Let's say there's a whole enemy team here in the middle, and we are coming from the top. So we want to make sure that the pathing, and whenever anyone says, ugh, pathing, or types up, ugh, dumb pathing got me killed. No, you got you killed. You need to use shift commands. If you were up at the top here, I'm going to draw on the minimap, and if you're up here, and you clicked on Kael'thas here because you want to move in for the kill, you are going to move in a straight line, and you will end up fighting the team from an undefended position. You need to take advantage of your towers. So instead what you can do is you can click here, Shift, then click here, and you will queue up commands as you move across the map. This allows you to, make more educated decisions. You can also queue together certain abilities using Shift. S stops all previous commands. H will too, but S is stop. So if you shifted and all of a sudden you walked to here and you decided this was a bad idea, you can hit S and you'll stop moving. In StarCraft, S stopped you, but if something walked by you, you would start attacking it and you would follow it. Hold position allows you to hold your position, and if something walks by you that's attackable, you will not continue to chase it. So that's why I prefer H. Also, S is right below W. I don't want to accidentally cast my abilities, so I like H because it's off to the side. I use my pointer finger to hit the H. And my pointer finger really isn't up to too much else on this board. All right, so we're low health. Not a bad idea to hearth back. We got ourselves a flight ready to roll. Looks like Gazlo's thinking of going in on this Kael'thas. He's been hit by a slow shot from the fort there. So we do have some decent excuse, but it is dangerous. Butcher's always going to be around. I like your pathing here, taking the safe way. And in fact, looks like Raynor might be able to finish it out, but no. A bit of ineffective stutter stepping on his part. Nice barrel roll getting out of that stun there. Sonya's out in front again, so we're safe to engage. A rather bizarre hammering, given the fight breaking out in front here. But I guess he ended up clearing the lane a bit. It did isolate Sonya. No one was there to help her. I think that was a lack of understanding by the team of how the Butcher Lamb to the Slaughter ability worked, where he puts up a chain and Sonya was locked down there. Well, maybe Sonya's just too blind to kill Morales. This happens a lot. And this is reinforced by people in lower leagues watching esports, and the casters will say things like, oh, you gotta go after that Morales. So people believe you have to go Morales. They don't take the whole picture into account, and they end up dying as they try to dive a well-defended character. Because look at this. Like, what are you gonna do to this Morales? Nothing. Sure, on paper, it's a great idea to get to her, but we have to imagine that our melee sustain assassins like Butcher can work as an off-tank in these situations, and Johanna is, of course, a tank for us. So, imagine drawing lines, and this is the best way to think about how you can access things that are being tanked, like this Morales, and what you can do as a tank for your team. So, let's imagine that we have our JoJo here. She creates a zone. Her zone is always going to be in between you and what you want to attack. So in this case, we can draw a line off Falstad through Johanna, and we know exactly what Johanna's tanking. She is tanking this area over here. Not very effective, but with the Butcher here, we can draw a line between the two, and we can say that this area has increased to basically everybody. But if we came around from this angle, we have a shot at the back line. As long as we're avoiding this front line that's blocking us, we are able to get through enemy tanks. So think about that as well. Like I was mentioning with the Raynor, he can off-tank a little bit. We'll draw these lines throughout this because this is a very important concept, and I'm only just sort of learning how to express it in this way. And I found that talking about drawing lines between the tanks is one of the easier ways to mentally picture this. So they get a fort. Hammering goes out. We got a barrel roll, though. No big deal. Grenade off Morales actually pushes us out. Sonya wants to spin to win. She shouldn't be afraid of Blind. Blind does nothing against a spell ability. Blind only makes you miss basic attacks. So, for you, Falstad, if you ever got blinded, and you may know this already, Hammerang, Lightning Rod, all your offensive spells will continue to work. We got this one twice in a row. Does that happen? I'm not insane, right? That just happened, yeah? We're level 10. We're 2 levels behind. Oh my goodness, this Sonya is a little too gung-ho on the Morales. But you guys got a Kael'thas. Nice blast deleting the Morales. Was it mana effective? Probably not. 100 mana, a 90-second cooldown to hit a single hero. That's very little value. But killing Morales is a pretty big deal, so I've got no problem with it. Always think about how you can increase the value, though. Big Balls taking a hit. No, Big Balls, get out of there. Nice body block for Big Balls, and you end up falling, and it wasn't enough. No, Big Balls, get out of there. You can't take it. It's too much. Gabby's back, though. She's spinning to win. Gazlo took the talent I don't want to see him take. Ended up going with that Robo Goblin. Tons of damage landing on Gabby now. Look out. Flaming. You got a chain bomb coming back to you. Well, not quite yet. About to be 13, though. Sonya is soaking the lower... Not soaking. She's healing. Okay, good. Being awful squirrely, Gazlo, but he ends up falling. We can regain the fight here. We're doing well, though. These spins are actually getting us a lot of skulls. And you have the full mana. Yeah, move in. Confidence. What happened to your lightning rod? I don't know. I guess it went uncast. Or it went cast on that Kael'thas in the last second before he died. Now we have to wait the full 15-second duration until we can recast it again. All right, we got lightning rod up. Let's cast it. Nice. Good. Gonna get boss here. So, kind of what we talked... Whoopsies, where are we off to here? Like we talked about a second ago, with drawing those lines, you are extremely safe where you are. But you can make yourself a little safer. This always scares me. It's a huge pad, particularly when Diablo's in the game. They want to be in these pads coming for you. So, you got a blind spot right below you. Your minions have pushed out, though, which means you can get a bit more aggressive in this area. So, this is a fine move. But you could always be a little safer by drawing those mental lines. You got Sonya. You got Raynor. They're making a perfect line back to you, but that also means that this area is a little safer, only because this is exposed. It's an example. Right now you have that middle lane pushed out, so you're actually quite safe exactly where you are. And we get ourselves a Punisher.
We have summoned an arcane Punisher from the depths.
Gazlo's pushing the bottom. I'd like to see him with the rest of us, but, you know, there was a mercenary down there that he took care of. End up getting Morales. That's a good call. Hitting a surprise Kael'thas in the back there, but again, a pretty low-value spell. I'm happy to see you casting them, though. And in fact, you know what? That's more important for your league right now than casting high-value spells. It's just making sure you're casting it. On a 90-second cooldown, it's very easy to just hold on to abilities until they're in perfect situations. I'd like to see a little more twitch control on the lightning rod there. You had an opportunity to put it on Johanna. The great thing about lightning rod is it will make people want to break that line. Same with Skeleton King's Drain Hope. One of the great powers of it is breaking a position that the enemy has. So casting it on tanks, it's not a bad idea. Ooh, we hit the... But you guys are working against a mule right now. If we could get an area effect back there to blow up this little guy, he's the one healing that building. And that's coming off of the Morales. Sonya, dragon, up, pyro, okay. Was gonna drag a Pyroblast into the entire lane. Might want to get out of here, Butcher's got a charge ready for you. Sylvanas in the top. Gazlo's burning through this camp here. Not a bad call, but I'd like to see him keep this fort alive. He's gonna be too late by the time he gets there, particularly with his health. This Sylvanas isn't gonna give a care. And in fact, he doesn't go and reinforce the lane. Where are you off to, Gazlo? He's thinking of going and sneaking this. Oh, I guess he just saw on the mini-map that fell, and now he wants to clean up that. Well, it's too late for that. Let's rejoin our Ibra Kadabra here. Where's Lily? She's dead. So everybody needs to get back. Oh, cute move by Johanna, but the more effective use would have been just to go the stun ult and just kill her. Though that is a neat ult indeed for survivability. Great push going on in the mid. We got catapults there too. Mid, if we do get a choice, is not the one we want to put catapults in first, just because it's the most convenient for us to clear at any point in the game.
Claim it in my name.
Top shrine. Walking your way up there? Sure. I mean, who doesn't like flight, but it's absolutely fine. Keeping our flight for another reason. We'd be too early anyway. We're waiting on the Sonya. We need... Gazlo's in the bottom. He wanted to get that camp. He could have started porting out. Oh, and he's going to ride. Oh, that's a long walk. Well, we're waiting for Sonya anyway, and we should be waiting for Sonya. There's no need to panic. Wait, Lily is correct. But Lily is saying the correct thing while doing the wrong thing. This happens a ton. It's very confusing as a player. Lily needs to realize that she needs to stay completely back. She's saying, wait, we need Sonya, we need Gazlo, but she is putting her body in the wrong position because she's so anxious. And this could lead to some disastrous results here, particularly as Butcher just found here. Here comes Sonya. No Fury built up on her, though. That's a decent Hyperion. I wouldn't mind seeing the angle change. We've talked about that a lot, I'm sure. I've got a lot of opinions about Hyperion. But if instead Raynor had walked himself up here and then cast it in this direction, it would have hit a couple buildings, taking advantage of the full value of the spell, which is those Yamato cannons. Plus, in this way, the enemy team, after it goes by here, has all this area safe to escape to. So, not the best Hyperion. And we do have a decent excuse here to let loose a pretty clutch Hinterland Blast. And you need to think about terrain first and foremost when you do these, because that's going to be your true identifier of value spells with Hinterland Blast, because it is so thin. But because of this rock here and this rock here, we have a great shot here at this Kael'thas, and it looks like Morales is heading down here. There's a good chance enemies will want to walk through this area too. Raynor got completely destroyed by a Butcher. Raynor doesn't look like he knows how to stutter step, therefore he couldn't kite. Amazing heals by the Lily there, keeping you going. Hinterland Blast, these two rocks. Great opportunity, but you end up falling dead for 41 seconds with your spell on cooldown. That is a low value situation. If you are going to die, might as well throw out your ultimate, get a bit of damage in, because it'll be half done off its cooldown by the time you get back. Why are we congratulating each other? Well, you know, at least we're friends, right? I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's sarcastic. Good, that's good determination. Raynor's about to intercept a jump if he takes another step closer. There it is. Gotta be careful. But it's now beyond the wall, and it's taking considerably more damage from the fort. Kite it up to this top tower here so it can be hit by both, though, and that'll help out a lot. Lily heals going out. Pyroblast being ineffective during the Lily heals. And we got a rout going on. Great barrel roll. I like seeing that aggression. You got a lightning rod, so let's use it. You hit the Kael'thas, nice. Morales was already dead, so a high value spell in the aiming for sure. I like that one. Oh, but she actually breaks her lightning rod. Interesting thing to note, not an ult I see very often, so it wouldn't be in the front of my mind that she would use it to dodge a connected ability, but something to notice for sure. Got a great, yeah, nice hammering for sure. Never forget that barrel roll can go over terrain, walls, anything. Not like you would want to jump this wall for a sweet Kael'thas kill, but it's always a possibility. And if you had a 2-level lead here, I'd say do it. Sonya spinning there because it gives her some increased movement speed. Get away from her team. Don't spread around the chain living bomb. And this is actually a pretty darn good recovery on you guys from a Punisher in your base. They've still got a full level lead, and we have a while before we can make that catch up. But Gazlo's doing a good job keeping us out on the map. These lanes are well pushed out. And you are hearthing for mana. Cool. You got flight? No worries there. Always try to blow the last of your mana before you leave, even if it's just a hammerang or a lightning rod on some lane minions. Just make sure every move you make has the most value you can give it. This is really easy on Zagara. If I'm gonna hearth back because I got no mana, I'm gonna blow all my creep tumors first, just to make sure I've done everything I can with my previous mana pool before I top it off. It really likes this middle one, so we got another fight breaking out. This is a dangerous place. This many people in one thing always makes me nervous about wombo combos suddenly coming and surprise us. Let's split up. Let's be careful. I mean, Kael'thas could blindly shoot a improved gravity lapse through that area and get us all killed. Now we're getting to the point, and let's relook at his targeting here, But now we're getting later into the game where the lightning rod, because Johanna has all her talents stacked up, isn't as effective as it used to be at taking out tanks. So let's see who it's shocking here. Looks like we are target on the tank. Johanna realizes it, breaks early. Now she's in our back line. Great job sticking around. Great job sticking around. Seriously. No. Stick around. Get back in there. You're good. You got Lily here. Hang out by Lily. You're the lowest health target. You'll get the heals. Nope, Sonya's the lowest health target. She got a little gung-ho in the front there. We have a Hinterland Blast. That's a nice blast. Very high value. But we're going to have to leave it. Living Bomb on you. Not going to... Oh, it did kill you. Oh, my goodness. Well, Falstad's got a little tiny bit of health. And nice stacks on your marksman. Let's round on that here. Down here in the corner, we can see he's got 28 stacks. That's pretty darn good. Stacks are, you know, a little better. They're not like orbs. Orbs you want to average at the very, very least 1 a minute. Stacks, you want to do about 3 a minute ideally. So we're a little behind the ideal, but still, for your league, 28 stacks is pretty darn good. They're moving in with a Punisher. We got nobody up, so this is going to be rather dangerous. Moron. Whoa, Raynor. Watch yourself there. No need for name calling. Big Ball's making his way. Sadly, he's a Robo-Goblin. Well, that was a bad idea. Even if he did have Gravity Bomb, he would have just muted the No one... What? Gazlo hasn't been saying anything, Raynor. Oh, it's gonna come down. Wow. If I was Johanna, I'd be feeling pretty darn cool right now. Punisher jumps on us. We were the closest target. Take half our health and damage. We're actually outdistancing the Lily heal here. I understand if you started to check out. This is a pretty powerful push. There's a chance we'll push him back. That's a really great Hinterland Blast. I like that. Punisher goes down, but we need to get rid of Kael'thas and Butcher, most assuredly. We got ourselves a hammering. Hits. Well, we dodged the Pyroblast, but it looks like it's all too late. Butcher has got himself in a standstill position if you are a melee assassin, and you don't have to move, and you won't be cut. What? Wow, all reported morons. Wow. Well, if I... So, Sonya's wrong. Sonya continued to die from Morales and got herself killed multiple times, constantly outdistancing her healer. But she wasn't the focus here. Raynor, I'd report him if I could, but sadly I can't select names like that by just watching a replay. What a tool. What a fool and a tool. Didn't even realize he could off-tank in some of those situations. Well, I was impressed. I don't know about y'all, but that didn't look like what I would expect from an 800 score bronze player. That was pretty good. And if you own the skin, clearly you probably play a lot of Gazlo. You had a color variant on it too. So I hope that was helpful for you. Picture those tank lineups so you know the safe zones for yourself. And, you know, maybe... If we didn't really miss that many hammerings, though. So I think everything went pretty well there with your spec. But sadly, we won't be able to look at it as it is an old client of the game. I'll have to relaunch here after each replay today, because Gray main patch came through and made everything old, which means we have to do this a bit different. Right. So let me know if I missed any questions. You guys got on quite the conversation there about quick casting, among other things. Drink and run, sure, dive the medic, but you gotta have support for it. I mean, that is on paper the correct thing to do. Sonya kept diving the medic alone, and as a tank, oof. If you are a tank and you dive and you put anything between yourself and your team, you are no longer tanking. The line is broken. And Sonya oh no, my stim pack! It only just expired. I should have played a game instead of watching other people's replays. I know, we would all like to see them dive the medic together, but sadly it wasn't. I think Ibracadabra got a little caught up using Lightning Rod on Johanna because it worked so well in the early game, but then when she hit 10, she was constantly breaking that chain, and it became a bad idea at that point. So we needed to, you know, refresh our thought process on that particular strategy. Yeah, I was impressed. Maybe it's just that German meta. Right, dive it if it's safe to do so, and you have support while you're going that deep. If you are playing with a Brightwing, actually, you should all probably take a little bit of time to look at all your various supports ranges. Brightwing has a very, very tiny one, so it's very easy to overstep her. Lily wasn't really on top of her serpents, nor do I think she was doing a serpent build there, but I'm not entirely sure. Should have looked at the talons before I took off. But if a Lily goes a serpent build, you can overstep her cups range a little bit, and here and there, but not always. Corpo asks, oh, do I need to get rid of some daily quests? Yeah, they build up, mainly because I play what I want. I'm sitting on 20,000 gold right now, so I think I might be saving that for a gray main master skin, honestly, because that thing's pretty sweet with the one claw, and when you use the leap, it's the one claw through the air like you're slam dunking them just through the air, and just wham with the claw and the metal and the one eye and the red eye. It's sweet. It's a sweet skin. I keep meaning to get a Nubarak's master skin, but it's not that big of a change. It's kind of, I don't know. It's neat. It's neat. I like this pink one because of all the webs. And I just don't get many opportunities to play a Nubarak anymore. But I really like this one. But it doesn't look that different. I guess from above you can really see those gems on his back and it does show up. But I'm kind of sitting on all the master skins I want right now. Or it's someone like Tychus where he's infested, so. Zagara's got a good master skin too. But Zagara, I'm one game away from Uther to level 10. They're not really characters I play for fun. Because they are serious time Heroes League mode characters. Anyway. There aren't any other questions. Oh wait, here we go. If you have a medic on your team, say, oh no, that's advice. Good advice. Cool. And with tunnel vision, acknowledge too that people have tunnel vision and you can use that against them. So if your whole team is at half health, you're invisible if you're at full health. And you can be more aggressive. It's a big statement, but think about it. If everyone wants to kill your team and you're at full health, you can wiggle through almost invisible in there. You can pull off some really cool things if you're confident. But we just spent a lot of time looking at Johanna. So let's watch a Johanna. We got Milohino? Like a misspelled Milano or something? I'm not sure. We'll go with Mio. I'm trying to improve my skills as tank, he says. Silver League Johanna on Spider Queen. In Heroes League, I'm decent if I can play sustained damage, like Raynor, Vala, and Zebo. However, when I play Warrior, my win rate percentage is in the 30s. My first choice of tank is Johanna because I like battle momentum. Cool guy, I like you. And she's very durable. My understanding of the role is that I should be the initiator for my team, and they should follow me when I lead engagements. This rarely happens when I play Johanna, so I assume I'm doing something wrong and perhaps overextending. Sweet. He's got an idea of maybe what's going wrong, but we can help him out here. Let's go to Spider Queen. Lance McLeod? Yeah, I don't have all the heroes. There are a lot of heroes I don't like, just on a flavor aspect. I play this game for shows, but ultimately it is for fun. So I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can play the heroes I want. Looks like we're seeing that glitch through everything today, but we'll just not look. Just don't look at the core. We'll just ignore it, and we'll look elsewhere, and everything's good. Let's find our JoJo here. All right. And I did just pick up Tyrael for gold, too. Been loving some Tyrael, as I mentioned in the show recently. Anyway, let's take a look at this. Let's see what we can infer from the get-go. We got a Rhaegar, so probably a good idea to hold on to Iron Skin to save our health if we get a little too low, to expect that Rhaegar heal and make sure it goes off on us. So don't pop Iron Skin too early, Well, we want to use it. Ideally, it has a 20-second cooldown. It's a little longer than I'd like it to use it on engage. But if it's going to be an objective fight, which won't really happen as much on Spider Queen here, we can engage with Iron Skin, make sure we absorb some of those early hits. We fight for 20 seconds, Iron Skin's ready again, and we can use it to disengage at that point. Here, I would focus more on the disengage part, or just the sustaining part, expecting that Rhaegar heal, and popping Iron Skin for that duration that can kind of happen to make sure we don't explode right when the spell effect is doing its slight delay. We got a Zeratul, but we have an off-tank too, so a lot of attention for our damage is going to come on Vala here. But just like our last game, we can draw those lines between our off-tank and us as the main tank and see what kind of zones we are creating for our buddies. That also means we might have some trouble tanking if Tyrael thinks he's the main tank and starts biting off the fights instead of supporting your decisions. That falls on the Tyrael as well, but we can maybe overstep him a little bit and make sure we're continuing to be the one who's engaging. On the enemy team, we got some push power for sure. Sylvanas, Nazeebo, Raynor, and then the Muradin and a Tyrande. Tyrande, of course, going to be very powerful, very surprising for tanks with the Hunter's Mark at level 1. Muradin, good stuns, great tank, and some of that push power. So what do we do here? Well, Sylvanas and Nazeebo are good targets for the Zeratul. I like that. Even Tyrael can roam a bit, but we will need to sustain our lanes here. So I like that you've taken the solo lane. I assume you're taking Knight takes pawn, and we'll put you in the solo lane, and we'll group up for objectives. We need to watch out for the Tyrande on the gank, but without a Diablo, it's not quite as powerful. Maybe Muradin will roll around with her, maybe Raynor, but I wouldn't expect the gank squad to be out first and foremost. And as Johanna, we're pretty darn safe, so I would just walk straight out in lane, start creating a zone, maybe look for the characters. You got Iron Skin to walk your way out if you run into more trouble than you expected. Cool, and you're just chilling. I love seeing patience, control, all those sort of good things. On this map with Johanna, would you go in the mid? I think it's harder to gank. It's easier to gank the middle, and Johanna would be in an advantage there. Looks like we missed out there on a sweet Raynor kill. Nice job. I like the mid too. It is going to be the most contested, gankiest lane, but it's also a decent idea to put your ganker in the middle lane so that they can visit the other lanes regularly. So Vala, not a bad idea to take the mid. Right now, Zeratul has to cover the mid, so things are a little bit more hairy. Let's focus in on Mio here. And let's really, really watch for two things. We want to make sure we are not stacking. There it goes. There was thing number one. That I was just about to say. We want to make sure we're not stacking our CCs. And this is very important on Johanna because you can mess yourself up easily. Condemn. Condemn stuns for 1/4 of a second, but also pulls them towards you. If you punish before or during the condemn, you have done yourself a huge disservice and you have negated the real power of punish, which is someone who is already running away that then goes ooh and feels the full 60-second slow as they're actively moving. And if you're not moving, if you're just standing still, that slow doesn't feel like anything. You don't even notice it. In fact, it lasts for 2 seconds, but it decays. I hate decays. They're lame. But you need to acknowledge that if you're going to be playing Johanna. Only that first, like, half a second, less than that, is going to be a full 60% slow. It decays at 1 second of the slow. It's now at 30%, which isn't as noticeable. At 1.5 seconds of the slow, it's now at 15%, which no one's going to know about. So you got to make sure you use punish on characters that are not only actively moving, but aren't under the effect of any other CC, or you're going to ruin the ability. We also need to make sure shield glare, in this case, is useless. Sylvanas, in this case, would not stick around and auto-attack our face. That's not her style. So blinding her here is not actually negating any attacks. We want to make sure the enemy team is fully engaged in attacking us so that they continue to auto-attack through the blind and they actually miss attacks. So in this case, our main blind targets are probably Raynor. And we want to make sure Raynor is already in range, lined up, doing attacks, and that we can then negate. On our team, we don't really have any other stuns we need to really worry about. Maybe a Tyrael stun later on. But if we had a Kael'thas on our team, we certainly don't want to use Condemn during Kael'thas's gravity lapse. If you stack stuns, they don't stagger themselves. They just happen at the same time. If I ran in and I stunned Zeratul for 2 seconds, and in the middle of my 2 seconds, you stunned him for 1 second, we would not have any sort of bonus on that stun. We would just have a 2-second stun total. So Johanna falls. It's a surprise. It's Hunter's Mark that got you. Hunter's Mark plus Raynor. A pretty good combination. Lots of damage coming out there. Came as a surprise to you, and you end up falling. And the bottom is abandoned, and that's the bigger shame here, is we are losing XP soak in the bottom. They are starting to gain a bit of an XP lead. Is this huge? Not really. Johanna Knight takes spawns, just going to show up and clean that whole thing up. Let's make sure she took it. Good. Before we make too many assumptions there. There it is again, and there's that punish you got, and that blind is useless. So make sure, condemn, relax, auto attack, punish, relax, auto attack, and shield glare. She didn't even feel the damage. I mean, Johanna's abilities just don't do a lot of damage, and that blind again accomplished nothing. And now you're missing a fourth of your mana. Shield glare, not a very expensive spell. In fact, all of Johanna's spells are relatively cheap, but we want to be as effective as we can with them. Nice little gank going on the top. Hungering Arrow is such a forgiving ability. Use your Vault. Volley, you're going to take a lot of spell damage in there. Starts the Vault right into the Muradin stun. Ends up falling. Is this your job? They're panicking a bit up top. I'd say stay bottom. Just make sure Sylvanas doesn't get back to your walls. She's burning down your ammo. All those sort of things. Things are getting a little dangerous. Nice job turning in, though, when you're at the 9 point there. Pull the zombies all around you. Now you're absolutely stuck. An odd choice for sure, but also an interesting ability interaction. Taking a lot of damage here. We are missing 2 people on the map, but Zeratul shows up, and we get the kill. So nice job there. This well probably wouldn't take you back to full. We do have Zeratul willing to soak here. Actually, it's going to take you to pretty much full anyway, so good choice there. Let's stick around. But I wouldn't mind have seen you Hearth and Zeratul if he was up for it watching your lane. We have a band in the middle, but we have an XP at the moment, lead from our sweet kills. Punished yet again, so I think that's just going to be a thing you haven't really realized. So we'll drop it here, but, you know, it's really, really, really important. Don't stack your CCs. So we'll call you out on it, but I'm sure if you're watching, you've realized at this point that you've been making a mistake for a while. All right, Spider Queen. We can look at the lanes here. They're all equal. Bottom's a bit open, but as long as no one's there to defend it, we can let it just push all by itself. Fight going on in the top. I'm just pausing here because we can always look to see which spider is most pushed out, and that's the one we want to aid first. We got our level 7 talents here too, so let's take a look at those. Laws of Hope, cool. 60-second cooldown. It can be very easy not using this ability, so I want to see you use it. Let's see what you get for level 7, but you said you like battle momentum, and I agree with you. Tyrael's making a call here. He's saying he wants to push this lane. With no support, Tyrael's not going to get a lot done. So we're a little split up here. Not a bad point to be in, though. Hunter's Mark is going to land on us pretty quickly, though. And that could be a bit of a surprise disaster. Tyrael showed up, though. We have some decent support with Rhaegar here now. It's like they got a kill in the top. That's great. Bottom is being pushed out. Sylvanas worked through that spider so quickly. And in fact, only a 5-minute spider. Going to go down everywhere. And hey, they got a Muradin. Nice. You're back up to 10. So good job staying safe. We can go mess with the Sylvanas a little bit, but we don't want to pick off a big team fight and lose our gems.
These mercenaries will fight for us or die.
Rhaegar's so aggressive on his pings for the mercenaries. Doesn't really sound like a support when he gets into it. 13 gems. Yep, I'd say go ahead and take the moment to go ahead and turn in. 18 gems on the Zeratul there as well. Zebo moving in. Oh, if only Zeratul was paying attention. He could get in there right now and get some nice body blocks in and get that kill for us. But sadly, he's stalking. He's overstocking. Oh, he's overstocking a lot. Go get that Sylvanas, Zeratul. You're waiting around to feel cool for too long. Double tank here. Tyrael's overstepped you, and you're escaping. Tyrael's making the call here. Aid him in it. Now you've left Vala in front. This is both yours and Tyrael's job, but Tyrael is just like any assassin. He's overstepping you. You need to get in front of him. They wanted to continue the scrimmage. You wanted to get back. It's not your call. You were a servant to your team, just like Rhaegar is. Nice damage off the Vala. She's going to get hit by that stun, though. Luckily, Tyrande targeted someone else, but, ugh, Hunter's Mark burns through that Rhaegar relatively quickly. And actually, a VP making Vala miss tons of her damage there on that attack. Luckily, she's going to clean up, but there's another stun. Oh my god, she doesn't clean up. Oh, well, we get a surprise Tyrande. Sadly, we were down in the bottom. We didn't even get turned in there. And Sylvanas is, well, in the middle here. So, some odd choices, for sure. Autocar's got a question. Should you use the trait more for damage mitigation or to avoid CC? Both. And that is a horrible answer to your question, but it is both. You should judge. On Spider Queen, it's a lot harder to figure out. Johanna has an advantage on Spider Queen because she can solo lane and she can clear lane extremely quickly, meaning that you can pick up a ton of gems. Here I'm scared for you. That's going to be a lot of damage. Nice dodge, but again, Hunter's Mark was your surprise there. You ended up dying too quickly. So, with JoJo, it's easier on other maps. So let's take Infernal Shrines, for example. Odd choice by Zeratul. Let's pause so I can actually pay attention here to what I'm saying. On Infernal Shrines, it's a 20-second cooldown ability, so until the bell rings, which gives us a 30-second counter until the shrine goes up, we can use Iron Skin for anything we want. Most likely, we won't be ganked in lane if you're watching the minimap, and you can see that you'll have time before you'll need a Iron Skin to escape. So you should use Iron Skin whenever. If you are dueling against a Zagara, and she puts a Hydralisk on you, Iron Skin, because you want to keep your health high, you want to stay above the blood in the water position. That's going to attract the attention of Zeratuls, Novas who might be roaming around thinking they can get a kill off on you, which they can in the early levels. We also want to just keep our health high so we're not using our well too early. Or making sure we don't have to hearth when the objective pops and we end up late to it. So that is a good call for it. And then once the objective is popped, we can use it more for CC because team fights are breaking out. So make those little rules for yourself. Use Iron Skin frequently. Haven't really seen an issue with Iron Skin so far on Mio here. Nazeebo got the 37 gems off himself. That's a shame. Looks like Zeratul's getting a little wailed on here. We moved in a decent blind to make them disengage, so that was a good call just for intimidation factor, but they are healing a ton during Tyrande's ult. You can see they're all top health. They're continuing to heal throughout this whole thing. Tyrael makes a good call deleting the Tyrande there, but it's a bit late. He ends up exploding. Oh, looks like Zeratul could have canceled the Void Prison there. Well, actually, no, he couldn't. He was dead, so never mind, but Tyrael ends up losing his life, and his passive trait does nothing there either. You get out safely, so nice job there. Vala, you're hugging up against poison damage there. Taking some bit of damage. Don't take a well if you're just going to hearth back anyway. Blind, it did stop some Sylvanas attacks, so it's okay. She was the only one invested, so maybe you saved the wall for an extra second. Johanna doesn't really have mana issues, so that wasn't the worst blind. Calm. You can attack those zombies if you want to get out sooner. Don't just panic. Now here's a moment where we could have tanked for the Vala a little better. And that's because we could force our body into things. So Muradin was running at our Vala. We had Vala right here. You can insert yourself right here and body block the Muradin, who is a melee attacker, from getting melee attacks onto your squishies. So think about body blocks not only to block escapes, to block teammates who are overstepping you so that you are always the first one in, but to divide melee heroes from your squishies. Body blocks are hugely important. And they should be in your mind on every character, but particularly tanks and melee assassins. Right call for Zeratul to back up here and take out these Banshees, but he is exposing himself a little bit. And we are dead for 13 seconds. Spider down in the bottom. Maybe it's Zeratul's job. I'm not sure where Rhaegar's off to. He's hoping for a sweet flank, but they're pushing down the wall. We need to come through our team. Alright, here comes our JoJo. Laws of Hope off cooldown. We have an excuse to get a little extra crazy. A decent blind, but Raynor wasn't really attacking anything important. Now perhaps would have been a better blind, but they're still on the run. Vala gets her full duration, that's great. We have our shield. Not sure why it wasn't used earlier. We still have it on cooldown, in fact. 60-second cooldown with battle momentum. Oh, you can take a guess. You know they're there. And you guys get the kill. You clean up the enemy team. But Blessed Shield off cooldown. Odd choice. I'd be using Blessed Shield whenever I can because I took battle momentum. And now I'm just going to go auto-attack things. It'll be on the 30-second cooldown. We're reaching the 40-second Kael'thas levels where you just need to make up excuses to use the ability because it'll always be off cooldown. Nice call making a boss, though. I like seeing Laws of Hope used. I'm not sure exactly when it was used, but I'm just happy the button was pressed. Bit of aggression here in the bottom, or in the middle. I wouldn't worry about it. I think that's going to get cleaned up. We can send maybe one person to deal with this. Let's reinforce this boss who's going to take out this for us. The reason we need to reinforce this boss so importantly here is because of Tyranda's Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark can target anything, not only heroes. Just can't be used on structures. But that means that she can put it on this thing. Look how fast she's burning through the boss now. With support, maybe we could zone. Maybe we could get this front wall, these walls, equal to the XP of one of the forts. So, always, if we can get this back wall too off the back of a boss, it's going to be a stronger choice. And we're still a level behind. And bosses are win conditions, so we want to support them, just like spiders. So here, Tyrael's making the call. Vala's making the call. Where's Zeratul? Oh, he's turning in. Fine. Good. He can join soon enough. So we need to draw a line. We're going to see where Tyrael goes here. And we can make our move based on that. Tyrael backs up. We are engaging in a straight line here. But this is our zone to block because we have a Zeratul coming in. And we have a Vala down there as well. So instead of approaching from this direction, you swing down and you approach from this direction to make sure you absorb stuns coming from the Muradin. Now, if you're Muradin in this case, let's see Muradin's spec, actually. Muradin pierces first target. Cool. So Muradin in this case, when you come down here and do the correct thing to surprise... Well, not surprise. To body block for this Vala, Muradin can still shoot through you to hit the Vala with a stun. That's an important thing to note when he gets that talented level 7. It's always very surprising. If you have any ability that pierces other things, you can do some pretty surprising things. So take advantage of those moments. Let's get refocused on Johanna. Shield went out. Oh, it whiffs. That's a shame. Condemn whiffs. Not very high value spells here. And we're not auto-attacking anything right now, so we're not taking advantage of our battle momentum to get back in. Cube thinks he's one super step. These guys want to fight, and it's your job to bite them off a piece. Zeratul's here too, stalking. That's a great condemn. You get a big old handful. Iron Skin is on cooldown. You could be negating some damage there. Rhaegar does the right thing and heals the Tyrael. And Iron Skin's still on cooldown, and you fall. So a good opportunity there for Iron Skin. Not so much in the CC position, but just in a damage mitigation position to get some work done. Rhaegar wants to stay in wolf form so he can move fast. He should, get out of that. heal him up. He does just that, a little later than I'd like. And that's what a lot of higher league play comes down to, is a little faster than y'all do it in the lower leagues. Honestly, one of the few things that just separates you guys out. Just do things faster. Be indecisive less. And of course, Tyrande burns through all objectives just so fast with Hunter's Mark. Really can't let her get a hold of anything. Here comes an owl. Tyrion's making a call. We're alive. Zeratul scouting out. Walking right into a bunch of damage. No one gets a stun though, so no one's going to get deleted today. There's invisibility. And if you're using locked camera at home, stop it. In fact, we can do a little check here. Just a little inspection. Check on Mio here. Are you using locked camera, buddy? Oop. We might be. We might be using locked camera. I don't know. One of the big problems with locked camera is that it's really hard to see stealthies because the camera's moving every time you use it. What you want to do when you're looking for stealthy characters is set up the zone you want your camera in, your shot, the area you will be fighting in, and then keep it perfectly still, and then you can really see those shimmers. So if you're using locked camera, you're probably getting ganked by Novas and Zeratuls more than not. That wasn't a true sign. That may have been the replay doing its oddness. I don't know if that was his actual camera angle, but I'm worried a bit that he is using locked camera here. There, of course, we did condemn and punish at the same time. We want them to be running away, moving. That's why punish has a little bit of a range on it out in front of us, so we can sweep in front of us for those attacks. But we'll be able to get a big turn in here. 25 off the Zeratul, 10 off the Tyrael. Those are some good numbers. Won't give us a turn in by any means, but they'll get them off our character, so that's all good. I agree with Zeratul. Not a bad call. We see two in the middle. There's a peek at someone. Here comes Sylvanas, actually. Ooh, good gank position. Come on, Zeratul. Be a man. You can do it all by yourself. Doesn't have to be a man. He can be a woman. He can be a champion. I just wanted to body block and get the kill. Counting nobody in the enemy lane, so this is a full-on engage. And in fact, with the invisibility going out, we might have a Muradin moving in somewhere from the side. Looks like they were actually taking a camp, so no need to worry about that here. There's Muradin, moving in our squishies. Tyrael's drawing a decent line. Does Vala have Volt? She does not, so this could go horribly for her. We have left a huge area open in our double tanking. So how do we fix this? It's tough. Vala's dead. Do we have Ancestral Healing? Yes. Hopefully that'll land on Vala. We can do a blind through here. That could help. But she dies well before. Maybe a blind could have saved her life. I think it's a little hopeful. That was just a fail of tanking. And just like we talked about with those lines there, you can see the openings that y'all gave for the Vala. And it was a surprise, but we saw and we heard the Tyrande ult go off, so we know something was up. Even though they took that middle camp, we know they're definitely coming in on us. And here's Vala, and look at the lines we're drawing right here. And this is partially Vala's fault. We got Jojo, we got Tyrael, and that's your protection zone. It's a little too wide, so it's not a very strong one, but the main protection is back here. So we are defending this front area. Vala's overstepped. She could be attacking from down here into this lane with a lot more protection. So there, we could have aided her a little bit instead by walking back here, walking up around the top, and always taking into account these invisible areas where something might be surprisingly coming out of it. Particularly with Tyrande Diablo. Muradin, to an extent, but it's not quite as gank happy. But we can see it working out just fine. Great zombie wall. Didn't even need it, actually. But still, a good zombie wall. So we move in. Let's look at those cooldowns. Got Iron Skin. We got we got Laws of Hope. Let's use that Laws of Hope. Excellent. Great timing. That was a good punish. But we did have Condemn on cooldown. There's Iron Skin. We reached the Blood in the Water point, and I guess it was a little too late. And in fact, Rhaegar tries to heal himself there. Ends up falling. Cube's going down. Realizes quick enough that he needs to turn around and get a little damage in, but moves on the tank. Not the preferred shot. Zeratul is left. Little goalie. 10. All by with Boo Janky moving in on him. Oh no. And Axe moving up behind her. They might be going for the boss. Yes. And with Tyrande, they can burn through that boss very, very quickly. So, ooh, but what were you up to, Zeratul? Get back. No, Zeratul. Oh, Zeratul. Zerafool. She's right there. She's so dead. You're breaking my heart. Oh, Zerafool. Darn it, dude. Little goalie. Little goalie's breaking my heart. That was not a good move. And of course, up top, they took that boss, just like we assumed they would. Alright, what do we got going on here? I heard the sound. Oh my goodness, we got dead Zeratul. Or dead Tyrael. But Zeratul gets out. Laws of Hope is up. Let's use it. No point hanging out. We got a well here too we can pop and get a little crazy with. Why not get the well and get crazy out there? It'll give you healing over time past your maximum health. You can get nuts. You got a stun. You can be auto-attacking things, reducing your shield glare cooldown. You're not taking full advantage of battle momentum here. And your indecision actually gets you stuck inside a zombie wall. And in fact, oh, really close there. And your spec is spot on. There's no problems there. You're just not taking advantage of all your abilities. Particularly battle momentum. There just aren't enough auto attacks. And you have excuses to get a little more crazy. But they are 2 levels up at this point. Zeratul overstocking yet again. No one's there to aid him. Alright, he bit off a piece, but it's close to you guys, so they all move in. That's a bad Void Prison. One to bite off a piece in the back, leaving the front open for a gank to happen. Vala's doing what she can, though. Does a lot of damage. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if she's top damage in this particular game. But she's been doing all right. Yes, she is. So we got a turn in rolling out. Maybe the spider could get the bottom, but I think they'll be able to mobilize fast enough. Yep, there's Sylvanas, sadly. And they're going to clean this up, and this turn-in was not effective. Very little value in this turn-in happening right here, since we lost our tank, and we can't push out with it. And we have a middle fort, we have a bottom fort to take. Plenty of those easily taken front forts that we'll have to not get today. Zeratul's moving in for, once again, his stalking position. We're waiting on our Mio to get back up right now. Tyrael should recognize that he has become the tank in this situation and should be in front of the Vala. Vala doesn't even have the confidence to auto-attack right now. She could be stutter-stepping, sure. She could be doing a little better. But with Tyrael in front of her, then she'll have the confidence. Zeratul is doing a good job stalking around. Very odd warp blink there. Jojo's back. Jojo's back and things can get insane. Once again, we got spiders coming in the top. Oh, we got top and mid pushed out pretty well. So that's scary. Bot can be left for the last because it's the longest track to the core, but also has a fort in the way of it that'll slow it down. We never closed the mystery box, did we? Odd choice. Laws of Hope, great job there. Yep, Iron Skin, good too. Don't panic so much though. You want to auto attack, you still got all your spells on cooldown, and you fall with Blessed Shield off cooldown. Maybe could have turned the fight around a little bit, but at 2 levels behind a Tyrande, things are going to be pretty rough. 4% ability, or 4% hero power per level, and plus a 25% vulnerability off the Tyrande. It's just going to delete you guys, and this looks like it'll be the end here. Though I'm cheating a little bit because I just saw that bar. We know it's the end here, and y'all are going to fall. Another sadly useless Void Prison goes out. Could have gone on the core, I guess, to delay the game, but still, he falls in the background, and we end up losing this particular game. So, it doesn't come down to, if someone were to holler out, oh, it's Mio's fault, they lost us the game, they'd be wrong. I don't think that was your fault at all. For your particular league, I think you did pretty darn well. but there's a lot of things we can really focus on. Don't stack your CCs. Use your Laws of Hope, which you did pretty darn well. But auto-attack. Auto-attack with battle momentum, and use that ult whenever you can, because if you're auto-attacking, it'll be a 30-second cooldown. So use your ult and go find something to auto-attack. And that works into stutter stepping too, to an extent. So let's say, for example, you're alive and this isn't the core. All right, let's say that. You're alive and this isn't attacking the core. Instead, we're just pushing a lane here. And you want to get back here to Tyrande. That's your ultimate goal, is to close on Tyrande. So, you run in here, and you H. You hold position, you auto-attack the nearest thing. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter what it is, because you're auto-attacking for battle momentum. Cool. You H, you take a step, you H. You've now completed 2 auto-attacks on your way to deal with your eventual goal. You move, you H. That's now a 1.5 seconds off of your cooldowns, all of them for your basic abilities, including your ult. And you arrive at your intended target, not too far behind what you originally intended. And you're the tank. People should be behind you, so they should be moving at your speed as well. Any other odd talent? I mean, I can't think of really. Zeratul damage was probably way too low. Everyone's kind of hugging down here. Yeah, Zeratul, a little too much stalking. And this damage just blocks above you. This is their level lead, but also just Tyrande. She's going to increase the damage that Muradin does, so Muradin's going to sit up here as well. Cool. We are 2 in. That means it's time for my break. When we come back, we'll be going right into Massiter's Raynor. On Garden Terror, he's a gold Raynor player, and then we will wrap up this cast with Arthalon from Heroes Rising on Cloud9 and watching his Raynor play. And again, we're not going to be hard on Master here through Arthalon's play. Of course, Arthalon is a Masters League player. He's a pro player, but we can make comparisons and see what you all can do at home to increase your Raynor play if you're sitting in a gold location like Massiter here is. So I will be with you guys shortly, and I will see you in about 5 minutes. Let's just call him Mass, so I don't have to do some sort of Massiter kind of thing every time I say his name. So, Mass, Raynor, Garden Terror, Gold League. Let's see what he has to say. He says, "Oh, I live in Germany. Well, we have double German today. Excellent. Sending you one of my replays as Raynor, my main Heroes League assassin. I'm doing a hell of a lot of mistakes in this game. Somehow didn't find my flow here. I just wonder where you see the deciding factor in the game to go so bad for me, and why, and how can I find my flow again when I start to get frustrated about myself? Then I often find myself doing even more mistakes out of my frustration. Looking forward to your advice." So he's a self-tilter. Gets into the game, gets ganked one too many times, ends up checking out mentally, or maybe just getting over frustrated and perhaps throwing the game for his team. So let's take a look here. I know, it's just taking over. Maybe it's the time I do the show, perhaps. Maybe it's like the perfect time at 1 p.m. Pacific for the German watchers out there. So welcome everybody. I do intend to do some shows at some more sane times for America. This is just what's convenient for me right now with my own schedule. Looks like we still have that crazy bogus well thing going on. Maybe I'll need to reinstall the game, but luckily it doesn't affect us later on very much. Let's find our Raynor. There he is. Level 4. Raynor's on his bike, so he's a happy man. Raynor's got himself a master skin. Love that master skin. Excellent skin. We got ourselves on our team a Kael'thas, Rhaegar, Diablo, and Sylvanas. Okay, so we're assuming this is... yeah, let's look at that enemy team too. Pretty sure this is a quick match game here. We got Nova, Asmodan, Tychus, Artanis, and Falstad. Okay. That's a lot of information. So we don't want to drop below half health and attract the Nova. For one. We want to avoid that blood in the water moment. We want to make sure that we don't escape in direct straight lines and stand next to obvious towers, nor are we going to want to stand in the middle of our lanes if we're up against Asmodan, because he's going to slam that lane. And though we want to stay inside our minions to avoid those snipes... Raynor's winning the game against Tychus. Nice job. Lore stands true. Raynor beats Tychus. Let's go ahead and switch that camera, though, so we don't have a cheat on the Nova here. Kael'thas ends up with a great stun there, but sadly, she's gonna get away. Occupy the majority of Diablo's time. You return to lane. I like this call. No need to be chasing a Nova all day. But Tychus, fresh from his kill, gung-ho about getting ya, runs out in lane, does the combo with the grenade and the overkill, and gets it down. Rhaegar is soaking. Can still use a little bit of lovin'. No need for him to have to solo this all by himself, though. With the hold position, it kind of looks like he's just, I don't know, changing his music or something. Sylvanas gonna do okay against Asmodan, but Asmodan has such a big health pool, he won't care about much of what she can do to zone him out. Kael'thas sadly overextended, the top lane abandoned. Great Verdant Spheres into the Gravity Lapse. This is why I love seeing Verdant Spheres used before the spell you want to use it, so you don't accidentally use the wrong thing enhanced. We got Mass here, taking lots of damage from that Falstad. Very dangerous. Falstad, Tychus together. They're going to be able to pump out a lot of damage. Interesting little body block there, actually. Now he's getting into that zone. Oh, isolated and body blocked. The Kael'thas falls. Nothing wrong there, though. I think that was a very surprising situation. I would have liked to see more auto attacks, seen some stutter step on your escape, but really that whole situation was very surprising. Wow, well that's the power of Nova, holy crap. I didn't think she, but it was a bit of an optical illusion for us as the player, because we see the health going up. I know you grabbed this well, and I see what your health is going to be, but your health is actually currently right where the yellow is. You have 500 health. And that's not enough for a Nova snipe. She hit you with the pinning shot so she could make the shot off. Hey, why'd we lose control of you? Oh, we lost sight of the Nova. There we go. Yep, so it's 129 damage for the pinning shot, and then 392 damage for the snipe. You went down. So don't lose track of your health, even when that well is going. But let's get refocused. Our Raynor has rezzed. He's riding out on his vulture bike. If I continue to go in the top, the good news is we have Sylvanas in the bottom, getting quite a bit done. Don't know why she mounted up there, thinking of maybe abandoning her post, but actually making the right call to stick around. This fight is going out without you, but nice auto attacks once you show up. Nice positioning too. End up getting the Artanis. Nova wants you though. And Rhaegar's making the call with his body. He's the one sort of being the tank at the moment. Here comes that Diablo, though. And we can rely on them. Boy, Nova's annoying, isn't she? Alright, nice job. Cleaning up the lore once again. Nice push, too. And a bite. A bite in the butt from the Rhaegar ends up cleaning up. You got 13 seconds till Adrenaline Rush. Looks like you do have a well in the background, too, so you have a good call to go get that for yourself. It's going to be some fine seeds. Not sure what Sylvanas was up to, but we can assume it was a cool idea. She ended up getting that bottom fort for us, so everything's looking pretty darn good. A nice kill. Overextend by the Artanis. Here's an Asmodan, but Diablo's not going to kill him anytime by himself, so best to just walk out of there. I like the safe path you're going around. Nice Inspire, good. Let's see that Inspire is cast when it ends on its cooldown in 2 seconds. Always easy to remember to Inspire his suit. Yep, hey, nice job. All right. One of my prime sort of targets for increasing your Raynor play is already being taken care of. Let's see if you do it 3 times, though. Huh? All right, we got it. Oh, no, there it is. Nope, you're good. And we can see a Nova down here. Should be concerned about that, but we do have a little bit of a body block. We're exposed at this point here. Where is Nova? There's the real one. Sadly, we lost our Diablo and one of our main stuns on the Kael'thas, so right call to get on out of there. Who would ride? Sylvanas not a bad choice. She does have some escape. Diablo would also fulfill his same role as tank being there. Wouldn't want to be Rhaegar. Probably not yourself or Kael'thas. So Diablo's gonna take it. It's a good call. It's a sort of tanky character. More siege damage than Diablo's ever gonna put out. So not a bad idea giving it to the tank at any point.
Time to make my retreat.
This is why I like tanks in the middle on Dragonshire, because they're right there to ride the dragon, and you don't really lose any power on your end. A little bit of a delay there getting out of the range of the Tychus, but you were moving past here, but holding on to that, getting out. We didn't have Inspire on cooldown either, did we? I guess we used it for a bit of bonus movement speed. Got a 2-level lead here, so a good excuse to get a little crazy. I'd start attacking this, yeah. Artanis is moving in on you. Wiggle a little bit. Hey, you end up dodging the ability anyway, but man, they want you. Falstad is on too. One little auto attack, though, does cancel Falstad's Tailwind for 6 seconds. So it's always worth it to just ping him a little bit when he's chasing you, so he doesn't have that 20% movement speed. Looks like your Hearth back. I don't disagree. Had your Adrenaline Rush on cooldown. A well would have been a waste. Good idea, aiding the Sylvanas. We got plenty of business going on in the top. That's fine. That's 100% fine. There's no team fight breaking out, but the Hyperion is doing all of its effects. It is taking advantage of its 4 shots for 98 damage. It's taking advantage of the huge amount of damage Yamoto Cannon does against structures. And now we've actually used it, so our cooldown has value. And when it comes off cooldown yet again, we can cast it in another good spot. Inspire that. You're right behind him. Nice job on the kill. And we can move in here. Sure, it'd be nice to have Hyperion here, but I'd rather it's cast more times per game. That's going to be an overall increase to your DPS. If you ever find yourself on things like Kael'thas with lower DPS than your enemies, you probably didn't cast Phoenix as often as you could have. And Raynor, sort of the same thing. 100-second cooldown is a really long time, but Hyperion gonna do a ton of siege damage if you're using it correctly. Sylvanas moving out here. She can solo this, but we can help out. In fact, I would switch positions here, like we've been talking all day, drawing those lines. You are an off tank when you are by yourself, or the tank is down. So embrace it. Be the first one to intercept those and overstep the Sylvanas there, so she could live in a situation where she might not otherwise. Great arrival though. Great Inspire. That movement speed allowing you to catch up to the Falstad there. Diablo is gonna fall, but you got a shot. Nice job. I don't think the two of you together can take out Asmodan's massive health pool, but nice push. Just saying, see ya. Oh, and we have an Hyperion, so we could have used it there. Already off cooldown. Not a bad idea. Maybe even could have gotten that Asmodan kill if we angled it correctly. But now we're stuck with Hyperion off cooldown, and every second that we don't cast it here is time that we are not increasing our DPS later on, with more casts of Hyperion overall. Very minor thing. I have to target it because it's what there is to work on. You're doing great, dude. In fact, it's one of the things I'm working on. With a 100-second cooldown, I can really get caught up in holding this for perfect situations. We see Asmodan. We see Artanis. Nothing too wrong going on up there. We're missing 3 on the enemy team. You know, Tychus is taking damage from somewhere, but that's just because we got a replay here. Which I guess means they're up here. And we could make that assume on the minimap too. Moving in. Clearly a Nova in there. Lots of damage awaiting us. Pretty bad angle on the Hyperion there. Not gonna accomplish a lot. Immediately gets outside the zone where the action is happening. Pretty obvious choice, but let's go ahead and say it out of obviousness. Of course, casting that way would have been the preferred range. Casting up this way, so maybe it shoots a building on its way out would have been the better choice. Garden Terror moving in. Faithless. Who is Faithless? Diablo. Good. Good target to ride it. He's just going to need aid as it runs down. But he's doing the run around thing that you need to do with that Garden Terror. I think that's why we're all a little exhausted of Garden Terror, because chasing it is just not a fun mechanic. It's not a lot of fun chasing that thing around. A little bit of confusion there as Falstad pushes everyone outside of Asmodan's laser. We actually had a pretty solid engage there before Falstad called it quits. But Kael'thas was being very aggressive on him, so I understand his call. We got Inspire. Not sure why we're hearthing. We still have all of our abilities. We have Adrenaline Rush, we have Inspire, we got Penetrating Round. There's plenty of choices. We can go join Diablo, we can go hang out by Rhaegar. Rhaegar can heal us up too, you gotta support. This hearth is bizarre. Oh, nope, well you realized it for yourself. Everyone's grouped up, they're making the call, they're making the push. Kael'thas could have shot Phoenix through his target first for that extra damage and lined it up, but still not a bad use of Phoenix. Diablo's making the call. Could have a stronger body block, but it won't matter. Asmodan's fat and falls. And you guys are kind of dominating this game here. That's not going to do too much because of regenerating shields. But are you guys? No, you guys aren't going to win at 11 minutes. No. Particularly with that pushback by the Falstad. And we're going to have Asmodan up in 10 seconds too. Wait, no, really? What, no, really? Lots of damage. Inspires off cooldown. Wail on that button. As you know full well and most likely forgot, as we all do. But bears worth repeating. Nice job on the Rhaegar there. Staying out of Ghost Wolf and making sure that he's actually healing everybody on the escape here. And hey, we're on our way to some of the camps. That's good. Looks like you're going to grab yourself a well. That'll top you off. Great. You guys have really built up some nice camaraderie here. Come together. Being quite aggressive. Moving around as a group. Enemy team not so lucky. Artanis off. Probably farming stacks, but we can check his spec here to see if he's actually accomplishing anything with this goal. Nope. No reason for him to be off doing that by himself. Asmodan should be hitting that. Particularly if Asmodan went... He didn't go the talent where he gets stacks, so... Kind of some odd choices by the enemy team and their talents here. But Artanis is solo tanking to an extent. He has no support. What happened here in this quick match game? Unless this isn't quick match, this is Heroes League. In which case, why did the enemy team go without a support? And no real tank. I don't really know.
Night falls in 30 seconds. Are you ready for some?
There's Nova. She's moving right through that bush there. In fact, she's probably sitting in that bush. We can hit the button here. Yep, there she is. Missed by our team. Nice Hyperion, though. You guys are creating a great zone. You're going to push through this area. Diablo needs to get himself in front. Currently, Rhaegar's the one in front. I'm going to be the first one hit by anything. But great zone. Asmodan has no reason to be scared, though, because Hyperion only targets 4 targets. There's a stun. Didn't really do too much. But hey, we have Bullseye. Nice job. Nice cast there, deleting that Asmodan. And it looks like we'll plow right through this score. No problem. A nice little teleport, but still leaves it open. Rhaegar tried to help out, but of course the teleport did confuse matters. Down to 19% on the core. There's Falstad flying around. Luckily, you dodged the push. You're gonna keep on going. So we gotta back up. Good call, trying to help out your fellow man there. Might be a bit aggressive. Walk in that diagonal line. This is a straight line you're escaping in. Always escape in diagonals. You want to be as straight as possible, right? You want to make it to your goal as quickly as possible so you survive. But even this slight curvature will make it rougher for Stitch's hooks, Nova snipes, and things of that nature to actually land against you. Nice double stun. Great Nova delete. That always feels good. This Tychus is a mystery up here. Oh, and we're gonna get body blocked. What's Artanis doing? I don't know. Kicking it. In a bush. Nice job, Diablo, with the kill. I think he's AFK. I have no idea what Artanis is up to. I have no idea what Falstad's. Oh, Falstad's waiting on the thing, yeah. Well, we're engaging with Artanis while he's... Weird. Maybe he got disconnected. Terror coming down the middle. We need to mobilize on this guy. We got a 2-level lead. So, not a bad idea if we could all mobilize and just straight up kill the core, which is what Sylvanas and Falstad, or Kael'thas are thinking here. Fire those phoenixes through your targets. It does damage. Darn it. Here goes a dead. Very bad call. Phoenix does damage on its way to eventually set up. Hey, you guys won. Making sure you fire that Phoenix through people is going to keep your damage higher, because it's the one part of the damage you can control. Let's jump back just a second, because we can't hit tab on this particular screen for some odd reason. And we'll take a look at your numbers. Because your spec looked great. I like all that. Top damage. Great siege. Good kills. So yeah. I'm not sure why you're so hard on yourself, dude. That was great. Your team really came together. Sure, you miss some background thoughts. Make those diagonal movements. Don't... In the early game, guys aren't dead that long, so Tychus, of course, rolled right out against you and got the early kill. But I saw almost no tilting. That was really great. I think we lost track of our Inspires late in the game, but we got tons of other things to think about. I think your Hyperions were pretty hot. We got off quite a few casts in such a short game, so this was great. I'm not really sure what happened here. But I hope we found something to help you out with. Let's go watch a master, shall we? And I'm curious about this myself. Of course, I did watch Heroes Rising while it was happening in real time during the stream, but I did not get to focus on what I want because we can't watch in-client like I can with Dota. So I was up to the discretion of the caster's camera as to what we got to see. And of course, as a Raynor player, I want to see what Arthalon was up to the entire time. So we're going to take a look at some Masters League Pro Play Raynor replay action right after we relaunch the game, because of course, loading old clients, we got to do it one at a time. Who knows? He could have been raging, right? Maybe he picked that character early and they left him as the solo tank and that was Heroes League. We have no idea. Could have been just a throw by the enemy team. Clearly, they did not mobilize. And there's no reason they could have gotten the business done on a map like Garden Terror. It's about the Garden Terror and the seeds. Without a support, your damage would be higher. Without a true tank, your damage would be higher. So there's a perfectly good excuse for them to win that game. But let's jump into this. Of course, Arthalon didn't email this to me himself, so we were just watching out of the Heroes of the Storm Heroes Rising Tournament Replay Pack. I will include a link to that in the show notes on the YouTube video when I get this posted up. But for now, we got Dunk Train on Morales, I Dream Zeratul, Johanna King Caffeine, and Falstad K1 Pro. And of course, the guy we're going to be focusing our camera on the entire time to see if we can eke out a little bit of tips as to how to play Raynor, and that is Arthalon in his Captain America gear. Of course, here they're up against the enemy. They're up against the Bob Ross fan club. We got Fan on the Kael'thas, Kima on the Uther, Eero on the ETC, and Zuna, Sonya, and wow.
10 seconds.
Why can we hear the? What?
5, 4,
Is there like a taunt mode?
1.
Why are we able to hear that? I have no idea. Anyway, we're not doing a recast here. This is not about the game in its entirety. This is all about watching what Arthalon is up to. In fact, if we can get his camera angle here, that'd be awesome. Let's see if this actually works. Now, it looks like we're stuck in follow, sadly. We can see, however, though, where he's clicking on the ground. It's just such a wiggle. Not really anything to gear up for with your own solo queue at home. This is, of course, pro players all piling in the middle. This is what they do right now for those early kills, for those early wall get downs, for some XP. It's a bizarre choice for us at home. We, of course, are a little more focused on soaking here. But we can see Arthalon standing his ground there, doing some basic stutter steps, making sure he's keeping his APM high. so that should any madness break out, he'll be able to see it. And they all move as a troop down to the bottom, leaving the middle open. So no soak priorities there. Zeratul ends up taking it. Gonna move back to the middle as a 3 group. And this is something they just do great. Cloud9, all throughout all their games here. Very rarely do any of them move around alone unless they have some sort of teleport or flight, like the Falstad or the Zeratul.
Hurry, activate the shrines, and the dragon's power is yours.
Let's jump back. Let's jump back, because I done the darn overlay thing again. It's a forgetful day. It's been a long week. I can tell you guys that much. No, we're good. We're good. Oh, overlay OP? Yes. Yes, Dustin Browder has confirmed overlay OP. Let's get refocused here.
Choose a talent.
Because you guys weren't getting to watch what I was so intently. And we'll get refocused here in just a moment. And luckily, since the camera lock seems to be working, and we are seeing the... Well, I'm not sure we're actually seeing Arthalon's own camera here. It's a little too fluid. I would expect a pro player's camera to be darting around a bit more. It kind of looks like he's using camera lock. But at any rate, this is relaxing for me. We can sit back, relax, and let the replay do its work. I just want to see what Arthalon's up to this entire game. And what makes him such a good Raynor. He does great damage. I really was impressed by his play throughout the entire tournament, and I want to emulate it in my own way. So let's watch and see what happens. Fight breaks out. Johanna's out ahead. So Inspire actually would do nothing because he's not going to stay engaged, so he stays on his mount to avoid any sort of attacks that might land on him. In particular, he's concerned about the ETC power slide into any sort of stun lock on the back of that, which is why they're staying mounted and making sure that they're keeping at range. Nice, and you can see there the push on the ETC. That was 100% his first priority, making sure a power slide didn't isolate him into a body block, into an Uther stun, and other things. Falstad heads to the top to get the soak. Johanna just gonna burn through everything with Knight takes pawn, so we're gonna head down to the bottom. What do we get as an opening pick for Arthalon here? I assume, yep, Seasoned Marksman, Knight takes pawn. 3 Seasoned Marksmen across this game. Holy heck, it is a laning map. And I guess they're embracing that idea quite a bit. In particular, now we understand why Falstad and Zeratul are out by themselves. The middle could use a bit more loving. I wouldn't mind seeing Zeratul being on the roam either and Raynor working on his stacks. Actually, it looks like... Oh, no. That was just the system catching up. So we don't need to worry about anything there. He moves down to the bottom. He's a bit isolated. He's got Morales with him, though. Takes a break in the bush. And gets the shrine. We can count 3 in the middle, so it's a pretty safe move. Zeratul and Falstad up there. If you both have Seasoned Marksman, you can stack together. You don't need the killing blow. You just have to have hit them before they die in about a 3-second window. So there's no problem with 2 Seasoned Marksman dudes being in the single lane together. Right, and yeah, this isn't the save camera, but it is convenient, and we do get to see his clicks on the ground. And you can see that he's using the H skill for a lot of this, because he's over-clicking his targets, and he's not clicking exactly what he wants to target every time. He's using tricks like H or S to make this happen, even avoiding pretty well as much as he could of that storm there. But when he sees 3, decides to adjust and just dive through the storm and the flame strike to get back. Look how Dunk Train 2 is just hiding out behind the wall, still in range of healing Raynor. But man, is this some careful play. There feels like our first Inspire of the game, which is a little different than what I've been preaching, which just inspires whenever you can. Let's see. Okay, straight into another. Nice. So it doesn't delay. A little bit of stutter step action here. In fact, there he was right-clicking everything he wanted exactly to kill, which is important when you're Seasoned Marksman. So, for Seasoned Marksman's sake, wonder why... Oh, he saw the middle. Go back. That's some amazing game sense. Here comes King Caffeine, though. Moving straight on the Kael'thas. The burst damage is one you want to really take care of. Check out. See that? That's exactly what ETC... See? That was great by ETC. Kael'thas ended up dying, but he forced himself in between the auto-attacking melees of King Caffeine and ended up saving him for a little bit. There was a blind for a bit of damage, didn't really accomplish much, but hey, we were just deleting an Uther there. A push Does full damage to the entire lane. Now we're stutter stepping back. Now we're using the H skill. You can see him clicking on the background. You can see him clicking up above the lane. He's clicking past the lane here and using H to stutter step as well. This is an interesting call. Is he just gonna... What? Oh, it's so he could power shoot the well? An odd choice. Certainly didn't get shown in the professional replay. I wonder if he does that a couple times and burns through the well there for him. A crit because he has focus attacks, and every couple of seconds he can, every, 10 seconds, and auto attacks can reset this. He can do 75% increased damage, so nothing special there, just a crit. Look at that, just sees the ETC coming in, knows he doesn't want to get snagged by it. ETC not going to be alone here in this game, and immediately pushes him back. You can see those auto attack stutter steps again with the H skill. Big fight's breaking out in the middle, but they're making a choice. He's going to grab the bottom here. Shot through the bush just to make sure nothing's there. We can count 4. Uther's on his way down. Tacitor's on his way down. There's Sonya in the top. Boy, Dunk Train's playing Morales careful. Just really hugging that back. Doesn't even go out of the wall there. Could absolutely heal Raynor in range. Only sight of 2. Could be an ETC in that bush. We don't know. Tassadar in the middle. There they... Okay, so there's our 3. They disappeared. iDream comes down. Cleans up. Gets some stacks. Currently, we're already at 12 stacks at the 5-minute mark. That's pretty stellar. Of course, if we only had 1 seasoned marksman roaming, could be a little bit higher. Immediately hits that Revolution Overdrive for the increased speed so we can get after Tassadar here. Zuna comes down. They avoid the spin off of Zuna. Great call. For every hero hit as Sonya, it's going to do increased damage. Good call on minimizing that timer, is a spoiler. Dunk Train actually walking into everything and pushing it closer to tower range, but the towers are out of ammo. So it doesn't quite accomplish it, but a cute idea. Man, is he playing safe, though. He doesn't even want to leave the safety of those towers. Not like they're very safe these days anyway. Fight breaking out in the middle, so Arthalon is perfectly safe down here. Falstad doing his business in the top. Curious to see how many stacks Falstad has for his seasoned marksman. Getting a little wiggly, so because we lose sight immediately. We have iDream here making his way down, so he would be able to reveal a move coming in. And hey, they get that first dragon. So we have our Hyperion now, only just got it. Of course, we want to include buildings in that. But let's see where he chooses to cast it, because every second we don't cast it is perhaps one more Hyperion cast we can get out in the game. But in a team aspect like this, that's not as important as it is for us solo queuers. Surprise ETC there. Power slide with that range increase, just gonna get him out, no problem. And he knows he has Morales here, so it's okay to take a couple shots. In fact, iDream gets all the attention. And that's because I assume Dunk Train went with... No, Cleanse, in fact. Probably for the best, though Cleanse doesn't work like it used to against things like Mosh Pit, but still a good skill to have. Oh, I broke our camera there. Let's refocus. See if we can't get it back on our guy. Great Void Prison. In fact, K1 Pro comes down right in time. Oh, that would have been cute if that grenade, if iDream had canceled his Void Prison and let that grenade land, pushing everyone back towards the team. Good Phoenix for zone. Arthalon don't care, though. He's Raynor. He's got the attention of the Dunk Train. And he moves back to the top. All revealed by a Clairvoyance. Oh, nope. Not a Clairvoyance. It was just Tassadar. And sure, no need for him to walk around. Raynor's got the range. Keen Caffeine gets out no problem. So a little bit of indecision, as Keen Caffeine got surprised there by the push of the enemy team. But otherwise, right onto the Inspires. And boy, he's got 5 seconds till the next one. And we relocate back down the bottom. Falstad, once again, moves up to the top. It's amazing their focus on those characters that need the seasoned marksman. Maybe iDream could have held out a little longer for him, for Raynor to show up and get an auto attack off those guys, but iDream too is trying to get as many stacks of seasoned marksmen as he can. Let's take a look at Falstad and see what he's up to. 15. We got Raynor with 23 actually. Wow, despite Falstad being up in the top by himself, penetrating around, doing a bit more work. And iDream also has only 16. So actually this Raynor, who, you know, I thought would probably be the lower end of the seasoned marksman, is actually leading right now by quite a bit. Sonya in the middle. Very unlikely that Sonya's entirely by herself.
Within the shrines. Unleash the
There's
dragon
Uther
wrath.
wandering around. Still haven't used a single Hyperion. Which I would think is bad. Maybe it's just us. Maybe it's at home. Maybe the team's saying, hold on to Hyperion for that super awesome skill we always do together when we combine it with X and X. But odd that he hasn't found an excuse for it, particularly regarding our solo play at home. Let's take a look at the damage at this point in the game. Wow, top damage Zeratul. Clearly we are not in our solo queue. Making their way. Heading up. King Caffeine in the more aggressive stance. Arthalon wants to follow him, but makes the right choice in going through the back. Nope, not going to join up top. Going to stay in mid. Oh, we're guarding for... Yep. And here... Oh, such a great push. I remember that one from watching at home. Double penetrating round. Cancels the Tacitar's ability to interrupt that dragon take. And they just grab hold. Immediately heads to the bottom. So not going to support the push. Not only does he have Hyperion off cooldown, he just goes off and starts getting more seasoned marksman. Has to push Sonya as soon. Great little jump by Sonya. Oh, he's going to get isolated. And sadly, a bad call taking out by himself. Now, for us in our own games, probably the entire enemy team would have focused in. Actually, I think we might have his real camera here. The way he's looking around right now. Yeah, I think we actually have a look at Arthalon's own camera. As he pokes around, takes a look, keeping an eye out for Falstad here. One of the things you can do on a team game is, of course, keep an eye out for stealthies, help them spot things that are incoming. King Caffeine had to pull back. He still got 18 seconds on the dragon, so now he decides to go in deep and get what he can off of that dragon. Though it looks like he's just going to get entirely zoned out. Yeah, we got his real camera. That's awesome. He's coming in, riding as fast as he can. Takes a quick look at himself before he heads in. Now Hyperion? Are we going to use it? No, he's going to interrupt the mosh pit. He's got another one too. That push actually pushes him into the Void Prison. There's our first Hyperion. It's actually angled. Yeah, ideally for the fight. And leaves no area in the top there for them to escape. And actually, those Yamato cannons do land true on the core there. If just a snapshot, I would have said that was a poor angling, but actually it was perfect. Nice job, Arthalon. So he's back by himself. He's up to 30 stacks of seasoned marksman. Pretty darn good for the 12-minute mark. Big fight breaking out in the bottom there. So we can assume here that his team is telling him that, nope, they want him to farm. All right, he's taking a look down there. He's making his way. He's got Adrenaline Rush ready. Looks like they're once again. He's never going to walk around that corner. He just wants to wail on these from afar. Can't blame him. Raynor range and all. He moves his camera very smoothly. Which was what made me think it was fake. But of course we can't see his own mouse. This is my big old mouse chilling on the screen. Force wall, blocking out a tank, and just creating a better zone for her. Really does a great job prioritizing heroes when he does this. But he also knows how he doesn't really move much. So So there's very little stutter stepping when he chooses to attack heroes. That's just because stutter stepping is always going to be easier when you don't care what you attack because you're using the H skill. And he immediately heads for top. Now, there's a push going on here. Targeting the knight in front first. Interesting. There have been some discussion how you should always take out that wizard in the back first because of its spell might lock onto you and do some extra damage. Just curious to see what his attack priorities are. Here we go, King Caffeine. Pro players, they're so patient with these dragons. I love it. There's the power slide, though, that he's been afraid of all game. He's got the Hyperion, but I guess we're just going to save it yet again. We could even get in some tower damage if we cast it in the right angle right now. Decent little force wall. Making things a bit more complicated, but we're all coming from the right angle. There's Sonya from behind. There's the Hyperion, and it includes a building or two, so that's great. You can hear it charging up there in the background. Hyperion firing on that fort there. Looks like Sonya was entirely zoned out. We still have 26 seconds on the dragon. The dragon's going to take the aggressive pathway, and Arthalon smartly will take the back way to make sure he maintains with his team, make sure he meets up with K1 Pro correctly here, doesn't get ganked while everyone ignores the dragon, can only kick one person, and just kills Arthalon. And yes, these replays are available. They are posted on Reddit, but also I'll include them in the VOD of this cast that I end up putting onto YouTube there. Oh, double stun. Oh, into a Divine Shield. ETC mosh pit. Smart of Arthalon to take that step back and avoid some of that Phoenix damage. Here comes that Sonya, though. Oh, sadly, wisps his shot. He's still got the adrenaline rush, though. Sadly, King Caffeine is getting focused down. And now, well, we got a 2v4 as they push this bottom here. And it looks like they're just going to give it up. It's a strong choice. He's got a well available to him. And he's going to go for the back one, not even wiggle around for that front one. That's probably dead already. iDream's moving in. Maybe iDream can bite him off a piece. Got Fan a little exposed from the rest of the group. Levels are equal, so no advantage really to take advantage of. Just stays bound for a really long time when a lot of us would probably be trying to get out a couple attacks here and there. Living Bomb lands. He, of course, removes himself. And K1 Pro there, too, knows not to stand next to the Raynor, of course, while the Living Bomb is on him. Gonna get healed up. We're still waiting on Johanna and Morales, so it's a good time to be patient.
Your fort has fallen.
Oh no, the well! Alright. Morales and Johanna are back on the field.
Shrines awaken once more. Who will control?
He's held on to his penetrating round there. I may have used it to clear that lane. But we don't know where the enemy team is, and they could come sliding in. So that may have been a conscious choice. And the enemy team is entirely missing. We know they took a camp recently, but beyond that, we are unsure. And we're moving as a big old pile. Dunk Train Morales keeping towards the back. King Caffeine out in front. iDream can't overstep his tank, of course, as a stealthy, but looks like a reveal comes down from the Uther in that case. Highly doubt that Kel'Thas, while he can take the Clairvoyance, that he even would take that spell in a pro game. Decides to dismount. A little bit, yeah, just using the H trick. A little bit of stutter stepping here and there. Just making sure he's maintaining that straight line. Exactly what we talked about today between where his enemies could be and making sure King Caffeine's in between him and his enemies. A little different with ETC, of course, because he can power slide past your tank. But still a good practice. Falstad taking the top one. Johanna taking the bottom. Where is the enemy team? We have no idea. So Arthalon's going to go way to the back and just take the safest route he possibly can to go to the middle. Like, really, really safe. We even had iDream out there scouting around that corner. We could have taken the exact same path, but we had no idea where the enemy was. Now we see Tassadar and Sonya, but that still leaves us with a number of people missing. Here comes King Caffeine. Of course, he wants to be the one to take the dragon, like we talked about in the last game, too. Great Divine Shield into Mosh Pit. There's the Phoenix firing through the enemy before it goes. he's just going to stand in it. He has Stim Pack. If he were to run away, it would be a waste of Morales' investment. But sadly, he does get zoned out as King Caffeine gets pushed around the top, and we lose a lot of that stim power. Still, took advantage of it for what we could. Sees the wall goes up, doesn't panic. Double stuns the ETC. Not the most useful target, but hey. We got K1 Pro, now readjusted. Sonya coming around the back here. Zuna's diving a bit, and we still have our heals, so he's good. Still not overstepping the tank, though. That's awesome. There's Fan using a great, and everyone disengaged because they know they're not going to burn through a whole nother barrier on Kael'thas, but he used it when he was taking the damage. A little bit of slow on King Caffeine. Can't quite re-engage. Uther tries to get an engage, but the dunk train heals, and they're level 20, so Morale's just going to heal for days. Now he gets isolated, actually. He was pushed around the top. The team divided. He got isolated. Fan uses the blink aggressively, teleports in. They very quickly delete Arthalon, so a misstep there. Lost track of his tank. The battle took them down, leaving the entire open area, and he got exposed. Tried to make a break for the bush there, but Fan blinks over to him and deletes him rather quickly. And yes, this is not a VOD. This is actually just the replay. I'm watching exactly what Arthalon saw in this game. And he's watching this, and he's probably telling K1 Pro, get out of there, man! Get out of there! But K1 Pro used his flight to get down there. A cute push, but, oh, ETC. Oof. Blink ETC, too. Lots of power there. Great interrupt. King Caffeine did what he could, though. And he's going to have to get out of there. Here comes the enemy's first dragon of the game. Second dragon of the game? Second dragon of the game. Camera's getting a bit more nervous now. We're getting into the late game. Level 20, he's down for 2 seconds. But we have the core group. We're missing Falstad, which is a shame, but we still have our healer and our tank. And now we delayed with the Void Prison. Give some more time for Raynor getting here. There's our third Hyperion of the game. Could have had a couple more casts in there, but they've really been holding on to it, which is interesting. ETC diving straight for Raynor. He's still got the stim, though. He's doing some pretty phenomenal damage. A mosh pit to just delay the Raynor. And actually, it looks like they're going to lose this one, too. Not a surprise, of course, because we saw it earlier, but really cool to get to see what Arthalon was up to. And in fact, it was rather independent. It wasn't anything too big that relied on what the rest of his team did. So great things that we can take out of there. I think he held on to Hyperion too much. I think he valued the spell. But maybe he could have, with a 100-second cooldown, maybe he could have squeezed in one more cast of it. It wouldn't have made that big of a difference over the course of the entire game. And just a shame Falstad was down for the entire engage. We lost an entire assassin of damage. Let's look at the score. Top Raynor, excellent. Can we still select Raynor here? No, we got to jump back. For some reason, we have a hard time looking at stats. So we got, let's see, around this little button here, 48 stacks. So pretty good. Pretty good for Roman Raynor. Didn't really get into a lane by himself. They never got out-pushed either. It was just that they won a fight, that is Bob Ross, and then pushed in. So there's no point where he could just farm up to that what we want to aim for, 3 stacks per minute. But instead, 48 still pretty darn good. What did Falstad get up to? 37? And iDream? 31. Yeah. Arthalon did a great job getting his stacks. Anything else of note here? Good siege damage. He never rode the dragon, so that's important. Any interesting talent? No real choices. He did go end up with that double barrel and the bullseye. There is double tank on the enemy team. Sonya, not the highest health target. ETC, decently high health. Of course, it's not a Cho'Gall or anything like that we really need to get the giant killer for. But I like that he did this spec just for me, because I like doing the double bullseye spec. Holy Renewal, in fact, for King Caffeine. And hold your ground. Increase your Iron Skin shield damage by 20%. That's an interesting choice. Amplified healing. Well, that makes sense with Morales. Not only are you going to heal faster, but you'll make her heals, which are already a little mana ineffective, more effective. So I agree with that, but very interesting. Hold your ground and Holy Renewal. Then again, I preach against Holy Renewal on shows like this for you all because it's going to encourage you to use your Shield Glare wrong. Because you'll want to heal yourself. King Caffeine can control himself, I'm sure, and do a decent job. And look at this, a Tailwind build, actually, from Falstad. Ended up not going the more meta hammer build we see everywhere these days. Reduce activation, increase the movement speed. While active, basic ability to recharge faster. Epic mount didn't come into play, sadly, for the team. Anything interesting on Zeratul? We got a Stone Skin, we got a Warp. Nothing too crazy here. Of course, in a pro game like this, you don't need to go the shield, you don't need to go the self-healing build as heavy as for the Morales there. Looks like it was couples therapy, though actually going with Second Opinion for double grenades. With that grenade we took earlier, which the cost is refunded, and you have mana issues, so that's a pretty good talent to stack together. Now holds a second charge. Yeah, so you could burn through some serious mana. What's the cost of that grenade? 50. Okay. So we save a bit of mana, but once we get to 20, very little mana issues for Morales just because of this passive caduceus reactor. On the enemy team, anything interesting? Stone Skin for the Sonya. That's not too surprising. Mystical Spear, yep. Though we didn't go with Spear range, which is interesting. The Tassadar build. Holy Oracle reduced by... Not Holy Oracle. Too much Holy on the mind. But 20% reduced cooldown for the sight. Interesting. I guess in a pro game that may be the preferred shot. And he went with Rewind, which is just a fascinating pick. And requires quite a bit of work. This Mosh Pit build is pretty darn standard. But Speed Metal. Interesting. Into the Bolt of the Storm. Protective Shield, Clairvoyance instead. Even with a Tassadar, ended up taking Clairvoyance on this map. What's the... Cleanse. So for their team... Yeah, I guess we really don't have too much to cleanse, so he's able to go Clairvoyance. And there's a Kael'thas build. Nothing special to look out there. Well, sweet! That was cool to see. Let me know in the chat and in the comments on the YouTube if you guys enjoyed getting to see and wrap up with a episode like that. I enjoyed it, certainly. You don't get to watch single players and really get to see what they're up to out on the map as often because we can't watch in client yet. And, you know, the casters are telling a bigger overall story rather than just what's happening for a single guy.